So here we are in a car park by the beach, and this is where me and Gibbsy would end up a lot of the time with the Captain Coast Care and Dune Dude program. It was a bit of a dodgy looking setup. We'd just have a white van and some funny looking clothes, and we'd park up at a car park and probably near a toilet block, and we'd get dodgy looks as we sort of undressed in the car park. And and inside this van is like a TARDIS. So you've got an entire coastal environmental education program in here that you could probably tweak out for a week or more. And we pretty much started off with this tub at the start of the program. We inherited the Captain Coast Care and Dune Dude show that Gene Hardy and Troy Finmore developed, and me and Gibbsy were sort of sitting there with scratching our heads wondering what to do when there was this Coast Care Week coming up, and we had to do a whole program in a week, public awareness and education, and so I dragged out this box and it was like, well, this is Captain Coast Care and Dune Dude, Gibbsy, and he's like, oh, what's this all about, young fella? And so I showed him the little script, and we put on the shirt, the plover, and the pillow, and he puts it on, and he took to it like the proverbial, and from then you couldn't really stop him. The Captain Coast Care and Dune Dude program just ballooned from this tub to this van with all the decals, and a whole range of I guess innovative, crazy props and setups, and there's old Tangle's pretty deflated in there, and all these different props that it kind of looks like it come out of a jumble yard sale at the back of a sort of tip site, but when it was put together it was a pretty phenomenal thing. And I think the van and all this gear sort of personifies Gibbsy in terms of the persistence and the passion that he'd get with taking almost nothing and making it into something really special. I'd sit there scratching my head about Gibbsy's ideas. He's like, oh, Blair, we're going to get this shell and we're going to fill it full of rubbish and we're going to put a dolphin on it and we're going to just get these little things, and kids love them, and we're going to teach them all about marine debris and classification and science and all this stuff. And I'd be like, you're a nutcase. And then you watch him after an hour and all these kids are just frothing on this little activity, and teachers are coming up and they're going, wow, we really want one of these for us, and Gibbsy's all developing another entire program based on this shell and this dolphin and this rubbish. And the fact that we actually, he got this van and it's got this number plate, Swick 1, and this was Damien Postma's number plate, and so all of a sudden Damien loses his Swick 1 number plate, and it goes on the iLoad, and after 500 purchase orders and meetings and all these things, from not even being able to get a blow dryer on the first sort of purchase order to ending up with one of the sort of the most used vehicles of all Swick time. And I guess that persistence and this enthusiasm just shone through and made that Captain Coast Care and Dune Dude program what it was. Without Gibbsy, it just wouldn't have really got past more than that tub and a couple of events, but it ended up turning into the full suite of what Swick was with the coastal program, and it's sort of still hopefully going to continue with that. But it was also there was so much madness and chaos in as part of it. We'd rock up in these car parks and we'd have like 100 kids all sitting under a little tarpaulin, and we'd look at each other going, oh, here we go again, and what are we doing now? And trying to lift stuff in and lift stuff out of this van. I had no idea where stuff was. Only Gibbsy, you could only know what stuff was in there if you were Chris Gibbs. Whenever we're doing these programs, it'd always mean that we'd have to get on this silly uniform and embarrass ourselves. And Gibbsy could never really get the hang of his uniform, and he could never get the hang of when he actually had to start. So I'd always have to just go, okay, Gibbs, put all your little things on, and you know. And so the scary ones, and I can't remember how often it happened or where, but you know, these things have got flies, and so kids are sitting down at this level, and Gibbsy often would forget to do his fly up, and so I'd be like, Gibbsy, there's flies up, you know, that kind of thing. So we'd have to go through a series of checks, and the other thing that would never really work was his braces. And you know, he'd be sitting there 5 minutes to go, and he'd have his braces, which way do they go, and he had to stick a fish on it. You know, his pillow, you'd have to help him with his little pillow to get up here, and he'd end up looking like this with this thing, like it's just what's going on with that, Gibbsy. But so we'd always get there, and that was the thing. Even though no matter how mad some of your ideas were, Gibbsy, and I'd sit there just biting my lip going, what are we actually doing here? But at the end of the day, you just knew that 100, 200 kids just really got it. They got those messages, and I remember, you know, it'd be so ingrained in my mind just how often we'd be driving back home in the sunset along the coast, and you'd be going, oh, young fellow, we did it again, you know, there's all those kids out there that have got the message, and oh, you know, we've kicked so many goals today, mate. And you know, you were right. There's thousands of kids out there that have got that seed of knowledge and care and respect for the coast just planted in them, and who knows where that'll go. So I guess good on you, mate. It was a real blast working with you, and I've learned a lot myself, and yeah, here's to another little crazy session in the Captain Coast Care and Dune Dude suits. Cheers.